Take it away. Ba-da-da-da.
Okay, I'm done.
Welcome, Spartans, to Halo Podcast Evolve, your new favorite Halo podcast. Today is Friday, November 28th, and I'm your host, Drew. With me today is David, thank God.
Hey everybody, I got here. The internet sucks. Fuck you, Microsoft.
We went through an ordeal getting him here, so you better appreciate it. And the lovely Krysta.
What happened to ladies first?
Nope.
Nope,
It
never
doesn't
happened.
apply
Not a
here.
So it's the last episode of the month, which means it's Halo Book Club.
What?
This month we're talking about Halo Helljumpers. It's
yeah.
old school Halo Marvel comic. And as always, after the show, we're going to have the Nightfall episode 3 spoiler cast. So without further ado, this month's Halo Book Club, like I said, was Halo Helljumpers. You can get it if you want to go check this.
It's about $8
Go check this out
for
and then come back
Kindle
and listen
version.
to this episode. But yeah, it's pretty cheap and it's good. It stars, I want to say Dutch and Romeo.
Yep,
Correct.
Dutch and Romeo.
Yay! I didn't get to read it because I moved and I can't freaking find my copy. So.
But you've read it before?
Yeah, I had it. I've had almost all these. Everything
Oh,
that
that's
we've covered so far, I've already read, and I already had a copy of it or two.
That's cool. I hadn't read it before.
I haven't read- I haven't
So
read it
initial
either.
impressions, David. What is your initial impression of it?
Okay, straight off, this is old school. I was quite
He's-
surprised by how old it actually is.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Like, what makes it feel old school?
It just looks like an old Marvel comic. Like it's not like new. The color, the palette, the style.
Yeah.
I mean, I downloaded it, but it's just displayed in such a way that just like reminds me of like the Dark Knight Returns and that kind of way of just a lot older comics. Like it's cool. Like I liked it.
Yeah.
It's very much in the same vein as obviously Bloodlines, and I think there's a boot camp one as well. I haven't read that.
Boot Camp is part of the Halo: The Fall of Reach was turned
Yeah.
into a graphic novel.
The whole book was a graphic novel.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
'Cause it is-
I was kinda
Graphic
hoping that
novel?
was
They
its own
graphic
thing.
noveled that entire book?
I believe so because it's in chapters. Well, it's in sections. So it's Boot Camp, which is obviously the whole indoctrination, the first third of the book, and then Covenant and Invasion are the other two. And I haven't read through all of them. I think I have one or two of them. So I don't know if they cover the whole thing, but yeah, it is that era, and that's how far back Marvel and Halo go.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew these happened a while ago, but I think I just never really took
So-
heed of the Halo comics.
So the first Marvel Halo anything was Halo the graphic novel, and
That's the game, isn't it?
so it's actually a bunch of like random art and short stories. It's really eclectic. There's a like famous cover of Chief with two SMGs jumping backwards.
I know that picture, yeah.
Yep. And that's actually where we learned about Bourne syndrome with Johnson, like how Johnson survived. You learn about it in that short.
Okay.
There's like a it's like a few panes. I think it's one page.
Did that come out before
Hey, Johnson, you
Harvest?
have Bourne syndrome. Cool, man.
Yes, I think
Because
so.
that's not mentioned in Harvest at all.
Yeah, no. So that was
I think it's
2007. I think it
mentioned
came
in
out
First Strike.
alongside Halo 3.
First Strike.
Might have been mentioned in First Strike. You might be right. Which is definitely before the graphic novel.
'Cause that's when
but
Chief kind
anyways,
of goes back to Earth and starts talking to people again.
Like Marvel and Halo started doing their thing around Halo 3
Ooh.
launching, and then obviously Helljumpers comes out after ODST because otherwise you wouldn't know or care who these characters were. Although I kind of would have liked reading that and then playing ODST and be like, these dudes are awesome. You don't even know. Like I read this thing. You know what I mean?
That was my second surprise that it was characters I knew were in it, which is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would know the guys either. I was pretty surprised.
Yeah.
And Dutch is a fucking badass. My god. It's like
So
he has
so
this whole
hold
like
on. hold on. I want to
Alright.
get Krista's initial impressions real quick too before we
Okay.
start talking about the actual, like the story and the characters and stuff. What was your take on Helljumpers initially?
I'm not the biggest comic book person, but I thought it was interesting. The art was fun. The premise was cool. It was following ODSTs. You kind of got a better ODST perspective on Spartans as well, which I really liked about it.
Do you guys
Yeah.
find it a little annoying that every time ODSTs are talked about, they're always like compared to Spartans, or Spartans come up? Does that kind of cheapen ODSTs, or is it just kind of drawing the connection? How does it?
I think there's a big rivalry between the two, and there's a lot of bad blood between the two. But I think that it's just trying to separate the two, because Spartans are super powerful, and ODSTs were seen as like the Spartans of the
They were the
military until
pinnacle.
Spartans came
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, I think it's a whole case of the new kid on the block kind of thing, where like they used to be this shit, and now they're not. Like Spartans
Yeah,
got all
and
the
that's
attention.
kind of just a
and
big thing of their personalities and stuff.
Okay. So let's just start off with the story itself. You guys will have to refresh me actually, because I knew
Sure,
I knew
I
the
can do it.
characters, and when you gave me like the real brief synopsis,
I can give the brief synopsis.
I remember that, but I don't remember how it all played out or like what the fuck went down. So just giving
Okay, I only
everyone a
read
heads
one
up,
thing.
we didn't do a proper spoiler warning. When we do these,
Spoilers.
we go all in. We go all in. I mean, this is a book club, so to speak, within the podcast evolved community. So you
Basically,
should-
the rest of this podcast is going to be spoilers,
Yeah,
because
it's a
next
whole
we're
bunch of
talking about
spoilers.
Nightfall.
Right. So you should definitely, if you want, pause this and come back after you've checked out Helljumpers and Nightfall. But if not, we warned you, and the stuff doesn't really. it's not
Please
like-
don't hate us.
We're not breaking it. It's just you're gonna know what you're talking about when you go back and listen to it later. So go ahead and give me a synopsis, Krysta.
The UNSC received a distress signal from an outer colony, and the ODSTs are deployed there and dropped. And no one's there, and they can't find anyone, and they're really confused, and they split up, Scooby-Doo style. So Shaggy goes one way, and no.
So this is all pre-Halo events.
Yeah, this is all pre-Halo event. This is after Harvest, so it's in
Okay.
between the two.
So it's post-contact, but pre-Halo, pre-Flood, pre-Forerunner,
Yeah.
pre-Forerunner
Yeah.
contact, all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
It is. They eventually find the Covenant. And it's a big armada, and they're digging, kind of like they do in New Alexandria later in the series. And they find some Forerunner stuff and a huge armada. And they have to get out, and a couple die.
Huge
and stuff
armada.
like that.
What?
yeah, that's not a thing.
There's a
Krista.
ton of Covenant.
Oh, Covenant Armada.
Troops,
Okay.
but not ships.
But I thought you were saying there was a Forerunner Armada for a second. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
No. There was just like one mention of the Forerunners, and it's like, okay, bye. We're gonna go do something else now.
Okay.
They blow shit up. They get tackled. They die.
Well, how many
They're just-
ODSTs are we talking about here?
Isn't there like there's 3 and 2? There's a team of 3 and a team of 2, so there's 5, right, David?
Okay.
Incorrect. There are a bit more than that. I'd say in total there's 10. I think there maybe 5
Really?
survive to the end. Yeah, there's
Okay.
maybe
Oh, 'cause
4
there was a
or 5
team
that
of-
die. Yeah.
Wasn't there a team of? There was a team of 3, a team of 2 that died, and then another team of 2,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, there was
But, like-
it's a small number. It's a small number.
There's like 3 ODSTs that really matter, and then the other ones are just bystanders that just
So
kind of are
what-
silent.
So what happens in this story? Like what is the
Okay.
like?
Well, this is
these
Dutch and
guys
Romeo
encounter
before
these
they
guys.
met fucking Nathan Fillion and all that. Like, it's before they were part of that unit.
Okay, yeah.
They were like in this other unit. I can't even remember that. I think they're the 105th. I think that's what the
Yeah, the
regiment.
105th.
And it's not like a colony as much as it's actually a research dig site where like humans are digging. I think there's a couple of hundred people on the planet, not too
Yeah.
many.
Yeah.
And like the Covenant show up because they're looking to dig up what the humans are digging up.
So
Humans
are
don't
there
know what they found.
terraforming?
Yeah, they're not even terraforming. We're actually digging. We found ruins. We're looking down. It's like an
Oh.
archaeological dig site.
Yeah, they're like
So it's not
they're
heavily
like
defended.
legit digging.
Yeah, there's no
Huh.
marines there. There's no like defenses.
Yeah.
It's just a
And,
bunch
like,
of scientists.
Yeah, the Covenant come in, fucking kill everybody, and then start making the
They don't
humans.
kill them though. They
don't
capture
kill-
them
yeah,
and
they-
make them dig.
Yeah, they make the humans dig and
All right.
continue on. And pretty much what they're digging for and what they find is a luminary, which is like
Okay.
an oracle. Like it's full of a database.
Oh, okay.
It
Okay.
It looks like a giant
about
guilty
war.
spark.
Yeah, it's just a large stationary,
Ah, okay.
like a massive supercomputer.
And,
I like in Halo how like there's always a giant version of something. Like there's a giant hunter or a giant
Yeah.
the giant fucking
Shit,
Mo-
Infinity. Fuck's sake.
Go
no,
big or
the,
go home.
No, the in Halo 2 when you start encounter giant shit. What are those called that protect the Covenant or the Forerunner machines that are protecting Sentinels? The giant Sentinel.
Oh, the giant
Oh
sentinels.
yes.
Yeah.
With rockets and stuff.
Yeah. Like there's always a giant version of something in Halo. I love that.
It's like here's the regular version and here's the giant version.
Oh man, when they
I
start
wanna
bringing
see-
these giant floods.
I want to
fuck
see a
that.
giant grunt.
You watch
It's
him
this
run away.
Really, really big grunt. It's like one.
A giant
grunt.
suicide grunt.
He's like the big grunt. Like brutes are scared of him.
He's the mama grunt.
That's not a thing.
That's it. No, we're gonna make that a thing. All right. So then what?
So then what?
Then we find out that ODSTs hate knowledge, so they blow it up.
So they find this luminary. The humans find it. So
yeah,
ODSTs
humans find
the
it. Only
luminary.
humans.
It's
can pretty
basically
much get it.
information about Forerunners and the entire history of everything. And,
And they're like,
they're
"Fuck all
worried the
that."
Covenant's gonna use it against them, so they don't even gather information from it. They're just like, okay, can you blow yourself up, please? And it's like, okay, 3, 2, 1, boom.
Yeah,
What?
it's worth noting that there's
It's really
like,
anticlimactic.
there's 5 ODSTs on the planet and like thousands of Covenant coming
Oh,
towards
okay,
them.
okay.
So they're just like, right, we can't do anything with this information, but we
Yeah.
have to like stop it from getting into their hands.
Yeah, you
So-
keep your enemy from having the tools that you can't use.
Pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a couple of kind of cool moments and 2 things that kind of stood out with me. Like, there's this portion where like 2 ODSTs are in like a motor pool and they haven't found the Covenant yet, and they're like, whatever, they're bouncing around, they can't find any bodies, don't know what's going on, and like a jackal attacks them with like not an energy sword, but like a smaller
looks
version
like-
of it.
It looks
Like
like
an
an
arc
energy
blade?
sword that's been cut in half.
Yeah, it
like
looks
it's
like an
just
arc blade.
like it's just like a kind of like a lightsaber kind of thing.
Yeah,
It
and
looks
I've
like
never
just
seen anything like it before, and like because I know they've referenced that like the energy swords are very much like the elites of the elites can only use them. Like they're a very
Yeah.
honorable and highly regarded and sought after weapon. And
Yeah.
like when you look and think like the Kigyar or Jackals are held in such disdain, there's no
Yeah.
way they'd let
Which is
them
why
use
they
them, like,
only can carry
But
meters
they're
and plasma
pilots,
pistols.
or they're pirates, you know. So
they're
they
pirates.
they,
Yeah,
they
obviously scavenged
rummage
this fella.
through.
I just thought that
Yeah,
was like
they scavenge
noticeable
things.
or noteworthy.
That's
the
cool.
fact that he had this blade.
It was
And,
really
Tell me
weird.
about the characters like Dutch and Romeo.
yeah, well,
You learn
they
more
are.
about them.
To be honest with you, this was obviously written. I'm going to say pre ODST. I'm going to throw that out there.
Oh, really? Why?
I don't know why. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. I'm just.
It's
assuming that
definitely
this-
pre-ODST.
Is
Huh.
it because
Like
the
before
two
game,
characters?
before the
to be
game.
honest-
Oh, you mean the events took place pre-ODST? Like we know that though, right?
No, I mean when was the comic? Was the comic written after the game?
I think it came out after the game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was written
yeah.
before.
No, it's
the
definitely
game.
set before the game, but if it came out, yeah, because they are true to form. They're very in character. I think they match up with what you got from the game.
Okay.
It's kind of more of them. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all from Romeo's point of view. Like you're always hearing his thoughts. He's narrating the story as it progresses. So I found that kind of interesting to learn because Romeo is fairly throwaway. I'd say in ODST, you wouldn't pay too much attention to him.
Yeah, basically.
He's just like the sharpshooter of the group. But like Dutch is very much the more human character in the story. Like he has a wife on on another planet back home, and he's communicating to her, and he had put in for a transfer just before the event, so he was
I do
quitting,
remember that.
leaving the ODSTs, and he was going to go back and take up I think it was a teaching role, whatever planet she was on.
Huh.
So like 'cause she was a Marine as well, but she got injured, so she's off
Her
the front
leg
line.
got blown off or something.
Yeah, her
is
leg
that all?
got blown off.
Quitter.
So yeah, just got a robot leg. What's wrong with you?
So it did a good job of kind of fleshing those characters out.
Very much so.
Yeah, you
like, I
start
enjoyed this a
caring
lot
about
more
them.
than Bloodlines.
Because I'm getting the sense that you guys felt like this was a serviceable comic, but not that great. Like, not that great of a story.
No, it was definitely, it was kind of anticlimactic. I mean, you expect them to find some kind of object, and then they kind of find it, and then it's like 2 panels with it, and then they're done with it.
So we were talking about, with Halo Escalation, the fact that it really interacts with the bigger universe, and you guys are a little bummed that this doesn't feel like it does that, I'm assuming? Like, does this...
It's kind of a
feels
throwaway
like
story. It's kind of it just deals with building Dutch and Romeo, but like for no purpose.
Yeah, because
like,
those characters aren't like the biggest characters in the in ODST.
Yeah, like they show up in the game and that's it. Like you never see or hear from them again.
Would you have preferred, knowing what you know from ODST, would you have preferred this to be Mal? God damn it, not Mal, obviously.
Yeah.
But the fucking the main characters of ODST,
Dutch.
Dare and
Dare.
and
Dutch.
God damn it.
Come on, guys.
No, Buck.
Come on, guys.
Right?
Malcolm Rand. Buck. Yes.
Yeah, it's Buck.
Yeah. Would you have preferred that to be Buck and Dare's story? Like, have it be characters that are more of a focus, or do you
I'm
like
gonna say
that
no.
they're not?
And the reason why I say no is I think that's too obvious. Is to go for the main characters from ODST.
Yeah.
Obviously, the rookie is pointless because he's just a silent protagonist who doesn't actually exist. And I think that to flesh out Dutch and Romeo was good. Like obviously Mikey even isn't in anything else, but I kind of like that it takes these 2 characters and just tells you more about them because you won't see anything about them anywhere else. So I kind of like that they have their own thing. That it just adds more to the game a little bit, like just a little bit more.
Okay.
I think it would have been nice to introduce some new ODSTs as well because it's kind of just
like just some red shirts?
It's just those 2 basically.
Are there red shirts in this? I mean, it sounds like everybody else dies, right?
There is a red shirt. There are red shirts.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 guys who just get killed off straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't say anything really, and you don't even know their names. They're just there.
Yeah,
They're
I mean, the comics is pretty much just building up ODSTs as badasses, and that's just kind of it. Like, it's just we're ODSTs, goddammit, we're badass. And there's one guy.
They complain about Spartans for like half of the comic as well.
So what about the flip side? Is it all from human perspective? Do we learn anything about any Covenant characters or anybody outside of the
they interrogate a grunt.
That was kind of harsh. They like Romeo like makes a deal with a grunt where like he's just I'll let you go if you just give us some information like where the enemy disposition is or where they are like, and the grunt obviously agrees and tells them what they were digging for or what they're looking for. He lets the grunt go and then blows them away 2 seconds later, and it's just like whoa, that was harsh.
Exactly what I was expecting.
Like it was totally like, but it was all like the grunt hugs him and it's all like oh stupid.
What?
So
yeah, the grunt goes up and hugs him.
Yeah,
it's really
it's a real
cute.
kind of goofy grunt moment, like a typical Halo, and then it gets super dark the next fucking page.
That's gross. That sucks.
Yeah, it's totally.
You don't want a grunt to touch you?
Really jarring. It's just
it's shitty that he hugged him and then he fucking killed him. That's crazy.
It's just it's totally just it's just the juxtaposition. It's just so weird. Like it's totally jarring.
It feels like a bad guy move.
Yeah,
basically.
Pretty much. Dutch is like, dude, that was a bit harsh, and he's like, fuck him. It's like,
say,
brah,
brah, what are you doing, brah?
Fucking brah.
He's just gonna betray us anyway, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's just gonna go kill more humans, so I kill him now, saves human lives.
Jesus
That's his
Christ.
kind of rationale. Like he's really cold in it. Like it does a
They
good.
should have taken the grunt. They should have befriended the grunt and taken him with them.
So how does it end? It ends with them with the thing blowing itself up and then they leave.
Pretty much
they
meet. They break into this vault where the luminary or the oracle is kept, and they have like let's say 3-second conversation with it. Where they figure out,
Basically, it's like, what are
Yeah.
you?
what
Or
are you?
can you
Oh,
be
you're
used
this?
against us? Can you blow yourself up? That's the conversation.
Yeah, and the computer is like, sigh, okay.
So there's
can.
nothing interesting from this luminary. I mean, it's like
No.
Not
it's
at all.
it's a monitor we've never seen before.
Yes, it has a
And-
name, and I can't remember what it is. Off
That's
the top of my head.
okay. They all
Okay.
have weird, funky names. Guilty
Yeah.
Spark's the only one to remember.
Penitent
Like-
tangent. Penitent tangent. That's
Medicate
the one
bias,
I remember.
I understand. All right, so,
I mean, the potential there is
like,
huge. and
yeah,
massive.
I feel like we could have. I feel like that type. Like if you describe the character to me, it sounds like, oh man, he's probably got a really cool personality and knows some shit and like imparts
Yeah.
some really crazy knowledge that like the characters in the book don't understand. But if you're a fan of the series,
You
you're
know
like,
what
oh
he's talking
man,
about.
he totally said
Yeah.
that. Like there's
literally,
none of that.
he was the computer. Like he knew everything, all the Forerunner shit. Like he had everything down. I was like, I'm here, ready for you. My whole
So-
purpose is gathering information to give it to the Reclaimers.
So the
And
mantle.
they just blow it up. Not necessarily the mantle, but like this computer. You know, like, they all have functions. The monitors were purpose for a particular function.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
His only function was to gather knowledge from various
So he's
Forerunner
an archive.
information gathering things. Pretty much.
Yeah.
His sole purpose is to learn things to tell future generations. And like,
And so they blow him
Well,
up.
no wonder we
They
don't
blow
fucking
him
know
up.
anything.
yeah, so no wonder
That's what Krysta said beforehand. She was like, "No wonder we don't know anything. ODSTs are just gallivanting around the universe, blowing shit up that we don't even know about." Do you
Yeah.
find it? Do you find stories like this weird? So, a bit of a spoiler. If you've never played Halo Wars, like Halo Wars finds a way to ingest the flood into the story.
I
and-
did not like that
and
at
it
all.
wraps
And
it
it's
up
not
in
because
a
I'm
way
not a
like
Flood
everyone died. That's why no one's ever heard of the flood before. And so this, in its story, I find it a little odd that ODSTs in like pre Halo event timeline Halo encounter
Found
a
a
Forerunner
Forerunner
object. Not
object.
only a Forerunner object, like a Forerunner object of immense knowledge.
Do you know how
blew
they
it-
cover this up?
Blew it up and then don't even reference it again. Like I mean,
Oh yeah, do you
those
know how
guys,
they cover it up, Drew? They
Well,
have
that's
they have a whole thing where they say like Romeo and Dutch are just like, we have to blow this thing up, but we can't tell anybody about it because
Yeah.
we'll get fucking court-martialed or they'll execute us for blowing up this massively important.
I would execute them
information
too.
piece.
We need that
So-
information.
so
That's
let me-
why they come out, so they blow it up
So
and
this
like
is the Brokeback Mountain storyline where they're alone in the wilderness and they encounter an enlightening event and then they're like, all right, never tell anybody again.
no,
Let's
this is
never tell anybody that we totally got gay out in the wilderness on this
Yeah.
planet in the middle of nowhere.
And like the reason for the massive explosion is just like it's never referenced. Like it's like they crawl out of the rubble, and the other ODSTs are like, "Oh my God, you're alive and you're awesome because you're ODSTs and you're brilliant." And the two boys are like, "Yeah, we're awesome." And that's
That
it.
is
Like,
so bullshit.
it's so anticlimactic, which is the only bad thing about it because it was
So
great.
this
up there.
happens a lot is kind
It
of what I'm
was.
getting at. Like this happens a lot in Halo expanded stuff where it's like it ties things together that you, the reader, as a fan, are aware of, but the characters in the story aren't privy to it. But then I feel like that just makes more loose ends of like, wait a minute, what? You know, the same thing happened with Bloodline, where they encountered Forerunner, right? They encountered Forerunner AI, and those
Yeah, and he was experimenting
those
and
covenants were
disintegrating
there.
the guy. Yeah.
everybody didn't die though, right? I thought somebody from
No
Black
one
came
said
out.
anything though.
Everyone died, didn't they? Or no, everyone survived. Well, somebody survived. So the characters that survive, like, just don't go around going like, "Hey, wait a minute, we knew about this." This. Like, I feel like it's almost like paranoia levels of like, who knows what? Like, how long has Oni known about the flood?
Yeah, Oni is
Did
locking down
Did
everything.
Oni know about
But
the
then-
flood? Like, did Oni
If you look
know?
at the second stories of Nightfall, which are all like eyes only secret
Oh yeah,
information,
those black like
All
they're
that-
hinting
yeah.
at
They're
some real
so cool.
devious shit.
it shows you what Oni knew like so much leading up to that event, and obviously didn't do anything
Yeah.
about it for whatever reason. Like it goes to show that like Oni is obviously just taking in all this information. And
So I'm
picking and choosing what to deal with.
I wanna I just thought of this. So I can't wait for Krysta to read the Kilo 5 trilogy because there is a specific character in there that like once you read that, you'll go like, "Oh, this is what's going on in Halo 4." Because you don't actually know you don't understand what's happening in Halo 4 unless you read that Kilo 5 trilogy.
Really?
Yeah, it gives you
I would
perspective
say
on
so.
characters and motivations and why people are certain places and
I mean, why
why.
Del Rio is a total dick?
Well, Dario, I don't think it's.
He's only in it briefly. He's only in it briefly when
Yeah.
they kind of
He's a
like
big
they
pussy in
launched
that.
the Infinity during that trilogy.
Yes.
Like it's
He's
void.
But like
so
what's going on
mean.
with Halsey, what's going on with Jewel and Dama, all that stuff is all that is the Kilo 5 trilogy. Like that tells
Yeah.
you.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it gives you the background of Halo 4. In fact, replaying
Probably
Halo
the
4
formation
after
of the
reading,
Storm Covenant, right?
absolutely.
It's far
But-
more of a prequel to 4 than Halo 3 is.
But what I was going to point out is there are a lot of characters that, if you look at all the different stuff, you get some really interesting perspective of what they do and don't know. And I just thought of a new segment for the show, so I think we should do this in the future. We should do dossiers on individual characters, like
Oh,
characters
that's a good idea.
like Dutch
Like an
or
armory
Buck
version,
or
but
something.
for people instead of
Yes.
things.
I could do that. That sounds like
Yes.
fun.
What's
That
it
does.
called? How do you spell dossier?
Dossier is
Dossier.
D-O-S-S-I-E.
It's like dossier.
It's
Cool. It's in there.
D-O-S-S-I-E-R. So,
Okay, it's in there.
We should do those. So, anyways,
One more
what's
quick
your-
mention. Just
no,
before
go
we
ahead,
move
man,
on.
please. Yeah.
There's a panel like a scream where like the Romeo and Dutch hijack a Phantom and like Dutch whatever like in the space of 7 seconds figures out how to fly a Phantom having never done it before, right?
Yeah,
And
that's funny.
that's fine, like, and the Romeo's like, oh, Dutch is so cool, he learns how to fly a Phantom, that's just his thing. Like, yeah, whatever, fine. So he flies the Phantom, right? And which is kind of cool, I think, because there is something along the lines where I think, no, that doesn't make any sense. Do you know Mikey even has to learn how to fly a Phantom in
You
like.
keep calling Mickey Mikey. I think it is Mickey.
I know.
I
It's an
think it
Irish
is-
thing. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. But anyway, they steal a Phantom and they're flying over a bunch of elites, and the elites don't know that they've taken it, so they start firing on the elites, right? And then obviously they cop on,
Yeah.
and one elite with one fuel rod with one shot blows up
the
the
thing
fucking
out of the
Phantom.
sky.
Yeah, I'm like,
It blows
what?
up, and I'm like, what the fuck? No way. That
Yeah,
fucking
there's
fuel
a
rod
lot of
can barely
that's
kill
one
it, bro.
frustrating thing about comics and the novels. Like there will be an exchange between Chief and like a bunch of grunts, and he'll do all this cool shit, and I'm like, yeah, I wish I could fucking do that in
In the
in the
game.
video game
Or
that I
like,
play.
or like the package on Halo Legends where they basically just jump into the air in like Matrix
Oh, yeah.
style and like flip around and are shooting
That's
everyone.
brilliant.
And you're like,
Where
why
he goes into
can't I do
bullet
that?
time and he's dual wielding everything, and it's like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, you're like, why
Pulling
can't I
guns
do
out of
that?
the fucking sky, and he's yeah. That's cool.
So why don't we get some reviews here?
Go for it.
We've
I
talked
give
about
it
our
4
initial
crackers.
4 salmons.
4 salmons, 4 crackers.
We've talked about our initial impressions, and we've kind of basically covered front to cover, but I wanna hear, did you like it? What did you take away from it? Would you recommend it to people and stuff like that? So David, what's your overall review of Halo Helljumpers?
Overall review, I really enjoyed it, and it's fairly anticlimactic. I like the art style. It was kind of old school comics. That's kind of what I like about it a lot. The characters are good, but there's only 2 of them in it. That's kind of problematic, and they're not new.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it a number because that's fucking pointless. But I do.
Have some, like more interesting characters outside of those 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's got cool things in it, and there's a lot of cool things that happen in the ODST. Like, I'm going to throw out another thing. Like, Dutch pretty much breaks an elite's neck twice. Once with, like, a wire, and he just kind of wraps it around from behind and just fucking snaps his neck, and, like, that's fucking incredible. And another thing, he does, like, a total, like, GoldenEye thing where he fucking jumps on the back of his head and breaks his neck with his in between his thighs. That's fucking crazy, like. So that was kind of awesome. But like, there's little cool things that happen that make this comic, I think, worthwhile reading because you're kind of going, that was awesome.
All right.
But the story-wise is kind of so it's good on the action. Story is a bit of a letdown and anticlimactic in the end.
All right. So, Krysta, what's your overall review?
I agree with David.
All right, cool.
I think.
So...
God damn it. I think it's a way better use of your time if you read the novels instead of this comic. I would highly suggest the novels instead. It's great if you just want to sit down with some Halo lore that doesn't really tie into anything. It's just kind of there. But
that's a major flaw in it as well, I'd say. Yeah,
not the best, but
it exists by
Halo.
itself for no purpose.
Yeah. It just doesn't really give you any new information about the Halo series. If you've played the games, you know exactly what's going on in this. It doesn't really add anything, except character understanding. So yeah.
All right.
Four crackers.
4 crackers. Got it.
True. 3 rotten tomatoes.
Wow. Okay, well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's Halo 3 or Halo fucking Night Sting.
Book club.
Spoiler.
Halo book club.
No. This was a spoiler cast for episode 3 of Halo Nightfall. We will do another one next week, and then another one the week after that, and then we'll probably do an overall Nightfall spoilery casty thing. And I would like to include those the Halo 5 Guardians.
I'll remind you, it's worth looking up. Shout out right now for like the Arbiter's fucking armor is so fucking cool.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's all shiny and gold and looks incredible. So anyway.
The Arbiter's so cool. I mean, he's almost cooler than Master Chief. He's just amazing.
Oh,
he's about on the same level. Master Chief level. Of cool.
He gets a lot more book time than Master Chief does anyway. Like in the books he's got.
All right, well we're gonna wrap this episode and then we're gonna get off of here now. And
okay, I gotta go. Yeah,
thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.
Excellent.
Evolved.
Evolved.